What up, it's your boy Dvrth back at it again with another video, and today we're here with Stone Ocean episode 32. Last episode was an incredible backstory that we got for the Pucci brothers, for Enrico Pucci, and who we now know as Wes and or Dominic Pucci, Enrico's younger brother. So it was an incredible backstory episode. I really enjoyed it. Loved seeing the symbolism in like Dio and Pucci and stuff like that, and the parallels between Enrico and Wes. It was just really good stuff. It was also really disturbing with like the KKK and what was their sister's name? I forget the sister's name. But like damn near incest, and the sister killed herself. And it was just some really bad stuff that that transpired in that last episode. So that was really hype, as terrifying as it was. And now we are headed to what I can only assume is the pursuing fight between unfortunately Jolene and Weather Report. I would assume that it would be kind of hard to fight Weather Report at this point. So maybe not so much Jolene. Maybe it's more Pucci or Enrico, whatever you want to call him. That's mostly because Weather Report has no qualms with Jolene right now. Weather Report is trying to find Pucci, now I think about it. So it may be more or less a fight between Pucci and Weather Report rather than Jolene and Weather Report, because Weather Report isn't worried about Jolene right now. So we're gonna hop straight into it. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, all the other stuff. If you're just a lurker, I appreciate you too. If you have any requests, whether it be more JoJo or some totally different, the best place to send that in is always my social media links, going to be in the description below, or you can just comment below. That's cool too. We also have Patreon if you want these episodes early and the full-length reaction to these episodes. And we also have a Discord if you want to join that and talk more JoJo or whatever else we're watching on the show. Or on the show? Why do I always say that? On the fucking channel. Jesus Christ. So with all that being said, let's just hop in and watch the actual show before I make any more mistakes. So let's get our headphones, make sure they're on. Them bitches is on, and let's just get into it. I'm just now realizing, so that shit is not a hat, that's his fucking hair? Am I tripping? Yeah, that's his hair. This entire time I thought that was a hat. Mm-hmm. Right. Damn. Part of me feels satisfied. I mean, yeah, that's that part of you that's wreaking havoc. It's still a part of you. Oh my god! Oh shit. Yeah, me too, big dog. Yeah, they gonna. Oh yeah. Yeah, he's pulling up. He's pulling up. Okay, so the plan is I will kill Pucci and then you need to kill me. Which, in all reality, if we're to metagame this a little bit, that nigga ain't dying. To that effect, but oh, what the fuck? I was such a sick application to that. Bro, that's like one of these sickest applications. I don't know if he used that before, but I was wondering not the entire time, but I always wondered, like, I was like, I wonder if he's so strong with that shit that he can sense airflow and whether somebody disturbs it. That's disgusting. He can actually do that shit. Oh shit. He hid under them bitches. What? What? What the fuck did you do? Oh shit! That was cold. No way. Right, yeah, he was never the a key. Oh, that's cold. Yeah. What the fuck? Oh, he used Dvrth. That's sick. Oh my god, that's fucking sick. Oh, man, eat that, nigga. Oh, oh, sick. Oh, this is a sick ass fight. Oh, this is a sick ass fight. Eight dicks. What the fuck? Oh, he used the fuck. Yo, insane. Holy shit. A single frame to insert in a reel. Oh, it's like, yeah, okay, I see. Oh, that's the definition of something else in psychology. It's an effect on some, yeah. Right, so so it's not real, right? Definitely influence to take over. What? Starts to believe that they starts to believe. Okay. Right. Oh. I don't need vision. What the fuck? I ended. So he just blinded him. See, what a fucking demon. Fuck. Dude. We must all get to heaven. Oh my god. Dominic. He said his full fucking name. Whoa. Did he freeze the blood? He froze. He's just freezing everything. That's smart as fuck. Yes, he's freezing it. Yeah, he's freezing it. Yes. He's turning them into icicles so he can freeze them. That's smart as fuck. Bro, this shit is fucking great. Yes, that's sick. I try to stay blind, but you may also. God damn it! Oh, he's speaking facts. He's speaking facts, bro. He's speaking facts. Holy fuck! This is real as fuck. This is how he dies. This is how both of them die because Weather Report has to die. He's not surviving this, but that's how Poochie dies, bro. It's so fucking smart. Oh, this show is so smart. After again, doesn't matter. Yeah, he wants you to suffer. Whoa. Jesus Christ. Oh! Oh! He got him! Let's goddamn go! Oh my god! Fuck no! Get this shit's so fucking hard! Oh shit! He ate it! Let's go! Yo, he ate it! He changed the fucking viscosity of the blood. This is fucking hard! Oh my god! Oh! Oh shit. Oh shit. He's preying on fate to save him on this. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Does he actually win? Or will his prayers be heard? What the fuck? What? Oh fuck, I forgot about them. Deus Ex Machina. Oh shit, they probably killed him. Bro, this is probably it for this is probably wraps. This is probably wraps for my dog. This is probably wraps for my dog. No way. No way. I think you just killed him. Oh shit, yeah, he's using he's gonna use the debris. He's using the debris to you know. Fuck. Oh no. He's dead. He's dead. Holy fuck, he's dead. Ooh. What the oh, whoa! That's sick. This is so sick. That is a hard bar. What the fuck is going on? What a bar. What? What? Because me is guiding me to whoa. And you gotta follow it to the body? That's crazy. It's over. It's wraps. This is game over. Oh no. Not my dog, bro. Not my dog, bro! Not my dog! Oh fuck. He's gone. He's gone. Yeah. Fuck! Oh my god. What did he say? Pucci is just as fucking blind. That's why he couldn't see this. The MacGuffin that kills him later. Or at least it should. Oh! Oh, dude! Oh my god! Oh, turn this shit off, bro. Turn this shit off. Oh, turn this shit off. Oh, damn it. Oh, that's so fucking. That was a fucking cooker of an episode, and that was a cooker of a fight, cooker of a death scene, cooker of cooker foreshadowing. I I don't know. I don't even know where to start. I don't know where to start. There's a decent amount to talk about. There's a decent amount. I okay. Let me regather myself, because dear God, my mind was racing at a million miles an hour during that episode. Okay. So as expected, the fight is obviously Weather Report versus Pucci. Weather Report was trying to find him anyway. It just didn't work out. But what we should be talking about here is while the fight itself was really good. Let's start off with that before we get into any other crazy shit, right? The fight itself was really good. JoJo does fights a little different from other anime. JoJo doesn't really do the normal like hand-to-hand combat type of fights. You're not really gonna see people throw hands for real a lot in JoJo. And this is no different, right? But it is masterful in the way that it is done, in the way that it's executed. The fights, I always say, is like these fights are always like playing 4D chess. That's always something that I say about JoJo. So I've been saying about JoJo for years now, actually. And it's no different here. This fight was first of all, so well animated. The animation was very crisp. It was flashy, but not too flashy. It was just the right amount of flashy to where like it kept everything like as grounded as it could be. With a show about people turning into snails because they looked at a rainbow. But it was very well animated and kept it in the way that it was animated. It kept it very grounded. It made it to where you could truly appreciate what was going on without getting too hype and then missing something. Though I'm sure that happened in anyway. But outside of how it was animated, which was masterfully, the fight itself and how whether Pucci overcame something that Weather Report did, or Weather Report overcame something that Pucci did. It was quite literal. This was one of the closest fights, or one of the closest things to chess that one of the fights have been. Or at least it feels like it to me, and maybe that's just recency bias talking, but it just it felt so. And my move is this, and your move is this, and my move is this, but I counter and I take your queen, but I take your king and your pawn. It was really good, right? And the abilities, the stand abilities were used really well. I think one of not even I think, I know, I'm sure one of the strengths of this show is the stands. The stands are some of the stands are probably one of the most interesting power systems that we've seen in anime, and the way that they are used is really interesting as well. I having Ansui use Diver Down to, and I don't know if it's Diver, I want to say Diver Dan, for some reason I know it's not Diver Dan. I think it's Diver Down, but using Diver Down to submerge itself into Weather Report, and Weather Report being able to use its leg was really smart. But even after that was foiled, he still had multiple plans and counter counter actions for anything that Poochie did, and vice versa for Poochie, right? Even when his back was against the wall and he should have died at certain parts or at certain points in the fight, like when Poochie sent back the spikes or some shit, and it was about to just knife my dog in the face, and he just took it. He simply took it. So even when he didn't have a plan for something, the plan was simply to do nothing. So the fight was really well animated and really well thought out. I think that's really what what's so amazing about this fight is how well thought out it was, even down to like Weather Report freezing the blood in order to create icicles, and it was just so fucking cool. It's just such a cool fight. It's such a cool fight. Like I said, JoJo just does cool fights all the time. It's just that with the stakes and everything, when you have stakes put on top, like added to a very well thought out fight, because some fights in JoJo, while they're important, they're not like, oh no, this is the end of the world. This is quite literally the end of the world. So when you put stakes like that in a fight that's that well thought out, it makes such a masterful sequence of attacks, dodges, movements in schemes that, like, how could you not love that shit, right? How could you not love that shit? I loved every second of it. But outside of just the fight and stuff being really well done, the dialogue was great, which we'll get into it in a second. I want to shout out to Poochie for having one of the hardest lines that a villain could ever have, which is go spin hang on, let me bring that back up, because that was genuinely one of the sickest things I've ever heard somebody say. That was genuinely a hard bar. That was such a hard bar. Let me see. What did he say? Nope. What did he say? Nope. Okay, I can't find it. Whatever. The point is, that was a hard bar for him to say. Like, oh yeah, go spend the rest of your time with your loved ones. That is sick. But not only is that just a cool bar, it's also just real. Like, it cements how much this is game over, because that's basically what this is. This is game over. There is no coming back from this. The universe, the world, whatever, is about to end in 3 days, and there's nothing anybody can do to stop it. And with this bar, I was about to call it a bar again, that's what it is, but with this bar, that it's almost like Poochie himself is speaking to the viewer, by speaking to Jolene, by saying, yeah, go hang out with your family for a bit, tell them that you love them, that is such a sick bar, so yeah, the fight was incredible. But more importantly, let's talk about what the fight actually meant for both these two, because there was some great shit. There was some fantastic, some fan-fucking-tastic shit that was going on in this episode. I'm going to try to hit as much of it as possible, and if I miss something, I'll just come back as I usually do and be like, hey, by the way. The fight meant a lot outside of just being important, because it was between Weather Report and Poochie. In this fight, it seemed like, at least, I don't want to jump to any conclusions and make myself look like a jackass, but it seemed like they were just laying out foreshadowing after foreshadowing. Like, there's moments in shows where the foreshadowing is so real that, like, you have no choice but to acknowledge it, right? Sometimes foreshadowing is very subtle, and foreshadowing should be subtle, right? Or at least, it should have some subtlety to it. And this did, like, the foreshadowing in this episode did, but it was super heavy. It definitely felt like the show is like, all right, this is the end of this is about to be the end of the series coming up here pretty soon. So we're about to get really heavy-handed with the shit that's going on, because in a lot of ways, this is about to be the end of a legacy. I've said this time and time again, but a lot of this show, or a lot of this part 6, feels like the end of a legacy. And for us to be building up all these like themes and philosophical thought processes and thoughts and all this other stuff, for this show to be building all that up so much to get to this point, I am totally okay with you being heavy-handed with your foreshadowing this point, because we're at the end, dog. There's not much subtlety to be used. So this fight, yeah, it had a lot of foreshadowing with specifically when they're talking about how Weather Report's attack standability works, and he's talking about subliminal messaging and stuff like that, which is interesting, right? I should probably hit that before we actually talk about, like, the in-depth stuff that's going to take, like, a good amount of the time. But for Weather Report, dear God, for Poochie to be talking about Weather Report's ability in that way, I think we can safely say, yeah, the whole snail thing was not fake, but it wasn't real. Basically, the way at least I see Weather Report's ability working, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that the rainbows have subliminal messaging in them that tells you something that apparently makes you think that you are a snail. Now, Poochie doesn't exactly know for sure, because he just goes, well, does it tell you that does it have pictures of snails? Does it tell you something about being a snail? What does a subliminal message tell you, right? Which, is just it's up in there. Like, could we theorize what the subliminal message is? Sure. That would make this video probably like 3 to 4 hours long. So I would we won't be doing that at the moment, or at least we won't go too deep into it. But basically, they have subliminal messages in them that turn people in, that make people think that they are snails. Because the people think that they are snails, and it makes them believe that makes Jesus fucking, oh my God, my brain isn't working. What's going on? Okay, the episode short circuited my brain. I'm so sorry. The subliminal messages make you think that you are a snail, therefore your body starts to go through the progressions, the metamorphosis of becoming a snail, because evolution is a scary thing. If you think about how evolution works, It works exactly like that. Maybe not exactly like that, but it works something like that, right? The mind, or the collective minds see that that something is necessary, and because the mind is such a powerful thing, it gives that person that thing that the mind thinks that it needs, right? It's, in evolution, whenever an animal needs like a different color to blend in, all this other stuff, evolution will eventually turn them that color because that's what they need in order to survive, or to do whatever they want, right? Because these subliminal messages are strong enough to get in somebody's mind and turn them into, or make them think that they are a snail, to the point of them it's to the point that they turn into snails, because they're thinking, oh shit, I'm a snail, and their mind's like, oh shit, yeah, you're right, you are definitely a snail. So that has to be some strong subliminal messaging for it to be that crazy. That also might just be more of like JoJo being over the top, but yeah, it's possible, right? We talked about it before, an episode or two ago. I don't remember which episode it was. I think it was the episode before. I think it was like 29. That it's like the placebo effect, right? If you think it, there's a possibility, there's at least a slight possibility that you can become it, right? So with all that out the way, let's actually talk about the fight and the foreshadowing, everything that this fight meant. Throughout this fight, one of the most important things, and I would say the most important thing about this fight is how Poochie got, or found, a loophole through Weather Report's attack, right? Is the loophole in Weather Report's ability is exactly what the foreshadowing is, right? Is that Poochie decided to blind himself in order to not see the subliminal messaging, which is a smart idea. Like, let's be real, that's a very smart idea for him to use the disc, blah blah. However he did it, I'm not 100% sure, but he decided to blind himself and make like blinder contacts or something like that, so he couldn't see the subliminal messaging. The thing about that is, and it's something that Weather Report very quickly caught on to, which I'm happy they did, because we talked about it so fucking long ago. Not that long ago, but we talked about it a while ago. Is that it's not just this moment where Poochie decides to handle his situation by being blinded by what he's doing specifically, right? In a lot of ways, that's how Poochie got into this very situation, right? He wanted to do something good, and because he was so blind to the evil that he was doing, he got other people into it. He got other people hurt, and eventually he doubled down and just decided to keep doing it, because he had it. Maybe Weather Report was born cursed, but unfortunately Father Poochie was born blind. So you see Father Poochie have this moment, or in the last episode, I want to say, have this moment where he is so focused on making sure that his sister doesn't get hurt because of the accidental incest, that he goes to a shady, like obviously shady detective or whatever he was supposed to be, cop, and it ends up being like a fucking racist KKK member, right? Anybody any normal person would look at that and go, yeah, this may not be the best way to handle this. Father Poochie is no normal man. Instead, he doesn't see the evil that he is contributing to. He sees his main goal. That's all it is. It's not tunnel vision. It's something more than tunnel vision, because tunnel vision is not I think it's like reverse tunnel vision in a way, right? He can see the big picture. He just can't see himself in it, right? And because he can't see himself in the big picture, he makes the wrong choices in how to execute that big picture, right? Um, and this fight is no different. So I like the foreshadowing of the whole like, but you are blind thing, right? It also goes back to something else that we talked about, which is Father Pucci does not add himself into a lot of the plans that are happening, right? He says that he's going to shepherd everybody into heaven, the new world, universe, whatever the fuck it is, right? And that's admirable to a point, right? We said before that Father Pucci, what he's doing is technically not bad, right? In a lot of ways, I completely understand where Father Pucci is coming from. Actually, I absolutely understand where Father Pucci is coming from. He's one of the few antagonists where I'm like, I get it, dude. I get it, right? But the way he's going about it is wrong. So Father Pucci sees himself as shepherding everybody, but he does not include himself because he can't see himself. And in this situation, it is the same thing. So if Father Pucci is seeing this huge plan but doesn't see himself in the plan, and he's the linchpin of this plan, which, make no mistake, that is exactly what he is. If anybody is the absolute linchpin of the plan, it's Father Pucci, because nobody else matters other than Father Pucci. That's the whole gravity thing. That's why his gravity is so strong, because he's turning himself into the end all be all in order to get to the big picture, right? So having this what am I trying to say? Having this fight where Father Pucci decides to blind himself is very indicative in the way that he handles all of his problems, blinding himself to his own self, to his own evil. So for Weather Report to just call him out and be like, you don't see your own evil, like that's the problem, right? You're a good guy trying to do good things, but you end up doing bad, and the problem with that is that you don't see that you are doing the wrong thing. So really interesting stuff there. Really like that. I really like that they brought that back up, just to kind of not only foreshadow but also just kind of wrap that storyline theme up with a bow, and for the viewers that are like overanalyzing, such as me. So the blindness, really cool. Really enjoyed that part of the fight. It was a really good idea, but it was also very indicative of who Pucci is. Now, the problem with all the blindness and all this other stuff, which is probably also something that we talked about in a discussion before, so I won't harp on too much, is that because Pucci is so blind to himself, that is what's going to end up being the reason that he fails ultimately. I think that Pucci will be the first JoJo villain to win, but ultimately he is going to fail because of the plan that he has, right? And also how he decides to execute that plan. So the foreshadowing of the blindness and all that other stuff is really cool. But also there's some other stuff in here that should probably be talked about. Let's see, where am I in the episode actually? I lost it. Okay, I found it. All right, so on top of the blindness and all that other stuff, we get this moment in the fight where Pucci is pretty much at a point where he should be losing, right? When Weather Report gets him in the headlock and in the chokehold and all this other stuff. He is lost. He lost the fight, and he should have lost the fight. But here's another interesting thing that the show has been doing throughout this part, that has actually been the same throughout the part. I don't think I've truly noticed it, is that when he's counting the prime numbers and you know, my thought is that he counts the prime numbers to be like closer to his faith and all this other stuff, because they're prime numbers. They're all divisible by 1, and that's kind of like it aligns with his fate, right? His faith, I should say, right? And him believing in fate, and fate basically being God. And if that's his God and there's only one true God, which is fate, the whole counting thing is not only a coping mechanism or just a mechanism to just chill him the fuck out and make him like kind of focus up, but it's how he prays. And I don't know why I didn't think of this before, but yeah, it is literally how he prays. And the interesting thing about this is that, since, at least to me, Fate is a real character, Father Pucci is praying to an actual like God. At least that's the way I see it. Could he pray to just a normal God like Jesus or any other, I don't know, any other God, right? And it would be the same thing, sure. But in this universe, in this show, fate is a real thing. It is a real entity, and it makes real impacts in the world. So if Father Pucci, who is very steadfast in his faith and very interwoven at this point with fate itself, is doing something that connects him closer to his religion and his faith, it's safe to say that what he is doing is praying. Now, why do I bring this up and why do I talk about it so much? Immediately, maybe not immediately, but after praying and counting the prime numbers, we get a Deus Ex Machina, which here's the thing. Says time and time again, is that these random bailouts, I guess you can call it, I understand how that would like piss some people off. I heard before we even got to part 6, like a lot of people weren't the greatest, they weren't the happiest about part 6, right? A lot of people said like, oh yeah, you know, part 6 is you know, and you know, I didn't hear specifics, but I heard that it had a lot of normal shonen shit. I think that's something that one person said, that it was like normal shonen shit, or I don't know. I'm guessing this is what they're talking about, is that these bailouts happen, right? Now, the interesting thing with these bailout, or this bailout specifically, is that it connects directly to Father Pucci counting his prime numbers. Is that because he was technically praying, what happened here is that fate itself, or God, whatever you want to call it, heard his prayer and got him out of the situation. This is probably one of the most interesting things that JoJo has done in the show, is give us a character that seems to have a direct, not a direct line, it's not like he's talking to fate, but seems to have the best, I guess you could say, the best understanding of fate. So for him to count, pray, whatever you want to call it, and immediately there's a Deus Ex Machina, yes, I can see how that's frustrating for viewers, However, if you're frustrated, I don't want to be mean, right? I don't want to be mean. But if you're frustrated about the car crashing and that causing Father Pucci to get the final blow on Weather Report and kill him, and you're like, oh, that's such a Deus Ex Machina, Machina, and that shit's stupid. That's some anime shit. That's what they call it, fucking. I forget what they call those, but if you're thinking that, you're not watching the show. Let's be real. You're not watching the show if you believe that was a Deus Ex Machina. I said Machina. Holy fuck. I've been watching too much Chainsaw Man. What it is a literal part of the show that for some reason you're not paying attention to. I don't know why. So it's not a Deus Ex. Well, yeah, it is a Deus. Let me say this. It is a Deus Ex Machina. It absolutely is. But don't look. I'm not looking at it being a Deus Ex Machina. I'm looking at why it happened, which is because fate basically bailed him out. Maybe not because he was praying, but simply that fate heard his prayers and bailed him out. It's once again the show tying off another theme with a bow and showing you this is the end. Let me explain to you, like, yes, this is the end. Let me explain to you why it's over, because now even fate seems to be on Pucci's side. Once again, I said last episode, fate is neutral. So I'm not saying that fate is absolutely on Pucci's side and there's nothing Pucci can do, because that's not what I'm saying, right? What I'm saying is that Pucci is on fate's side, not fate being on Pucci's side. So I say all that to say it's a really interesting way to have a Deus Ex Machina in your show, and I think I might correct myself if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first time I've seen a Deus Ex Machina in a show, and immediately was like, oh, that makes sense. Like, yeah, I've seen other Deus Ex Machinas in shows and they worked out, and it's not like it was bad or anything like that. I say time and time again that shows need things like this to happen because you want to move the plot along. It's not worth your time to think too hard about. But this is the first time I've seen the Deus Ex Machina, and it was like actually the Deus Ex Machina itself made sense. Not what happened, but the Deus Ex Machina itself made sense. It's just such a great idea. Such a smart idea is what it is. It's really fucking smart. But unfortunately, it caused the death of Weather Report, which I think we should talk about the death scene a little bit, which was incredible. The death scene was done very, very well, and we'll get back to like the philosophical stuff in just a sec, but I just want to say, like, the death scene was done really well. It reminded me a lot of part 5 when Abakio died, and how do I forget my favorite character, Narancia? It reminds me of when Abakio died and Narancia was like, you can fix him, right? And it's like this moment of denying the plausibility of a character being dead, and coming to terms with it. It was done really well because it feels like I can literally see the characters, or at least Jolene in this situation, go through stages of grief in rapid succession, right? Immediately, like, hey, Hermes, go call a doctor. And everybody's like, dude, he's dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's thinking the same thing, like, he's dead. But Jolene's like, go call a doctor, right? And obviously Jolene also knows he's gone, but she's also denying the plausibility of the character being dead. It's a really good way to start off a death scene, because it keeps the viewer, the watcher, engaged, because the viewer knows that Weather Report is dead. These characters know that Weather Report is dead, but when Jolene says, hey, go call a doctor, the viewer has ears perk up and like, what? Why would no, he's gone, right? And the breakdown from there is just nothing but downhill. There was also hard bars in the death scene as well, with Jolene saying that she just wanted to be in like the warm breeze with him one more time, whatever the line was, which was hard. I can't do it justice, but it was hard. Having Hermes, being the rough and tough one, not exactly wanting to be around everybody when, while they're all being emotional, but she's over there being emotional by herself, just absolutely crying. I think Hermes was crying the hardest out of everybody else, honestly. Just breaking down over there by herself. And even Ansui, who is on record for being a cold-blooded killer, even said like that's one guy I would have risked my life for. Like that, even my own parents, I don't give a fuck if they died. Who cares? Which is some sicko shit. But that guy right there, I would have gladly died for. And to be honest with you, I completely understand. From the moment that Weather Report stepped on the scene, he was so useful. He was so useful, but not in a way it's like, oh no, I'm so sad to not have Weather's power anymore, or I just have Weather around anymore, because he was helping us out, but because he was a genuinely good guy, right? And the crazy thing about that is that Weather Report's memories were gone, so the hatred for Poochie, the grief of losing, I forget Poochie's sister's name, Paula. Was it Paula? I think it was Paula. The hatred for Poochie, the grief of losing Paula, the KKK members torturing him, being hung, and all this other stuff. Even the person that he was before all that, it was wiped away. However he grew up, all that was wiped away. He forgot all that. So the only thing that was left was the person he really is. And that person that we met all those episodes ago was an incredible person. He had no reason to help. He'd had, other than like him losing his memories and all that other stuff. But he genuinely just did kind things. Coming back for Jolene whenever she was fighting I forget the monkey suit guy was, and saving a bevy of other characters, making it rain poisonous frogs simply to make sure Jolene wasn't in harm's way when it came to Poochie, right? Or anybody that Poochie sent out to kill her. The dude was a good dude that just went through some very not great circumstances. So having this whole thing of stripping back the character because of the loss of memory, and seeing how good of a person he was, it makes a lot of sense why everybody is so emotional. Maybe we didn't have as much time with him as we did like Narancha when he died, or Abakio or any other character that's died before. Iggy, you know, maybe we didn't have those like very silly moments that made him feel like a homestead character, like one of the Joe. He was one of the Joe Bros, but you know he didn't. You know, maybe he didn't feel like a cemented Joe Bro because he wasn't always there. But it was very smart. It was very smart writing for them to have it. And maybe this wasn't what Araki was shooting for, but this is at least how I see it. It was very smart writing for them to have it to where he lost his memories and he was just a good guy, you know, with his memories gone, right? Because now when he finally dies, you feel a lot worse for the guy, mostly because, you know, yeah, his memories are gone. He was genuinely just a good guy, even though he was fucking shit up everywhere right now because of his power. Even then, he couldn't control it. He simply just even he was like, yo, when I kill Poochie, kill me, so nobody else gets hurt, right? So the guy, he was really good. Weather Report was great. It's just that, you know, we didn't get as much time with him as we usually would with anybody else, right? So that yeah, the death scene was done very very well. Really enjoyed that. Let me see. No, you better not start the next episode. Okay. So yeah, the death scene was done very well. Really enjoyed that, and genuinely made me emotional as well. Honestly, if it went on a little longer, I probably would have started crying. But it was just really well done. I guess finally, or at least I guess for now, what we'll wrap up the discussion on is the end of this episode, which shows that Poochie has escaped. It is game over. The moon rises in 3 days, and I'm going to assume that we are not going to actually stop him in those 3 days. The show has done a very good job of keeping Poochie, what's the word I'm looking for? Keeping Poochie scary without him losing his humanity completely, right? One of the things that I remember specifically about Dio is that he gave up humanity in order to seek power. Poochie seems to be a more refined version of that. And that's mainly the reason why I feel like Poochie is definitely going to win, or at least Poochie is not going to fail the heaven plan thing, right? Is because Poochie has not given up his humanity, but he has embraced it in a way that we haven't really seen any other villain do. Of course, he merged with the homunculus green baby thing, but it's not so much that was more of just like a this is the key to my plan. Outside of that, he has been nothing but stellar when it came to like keeping his humanity intact. So when the show does this whole thing of having the vestiges of him like basically spell out like, yo, you're all about to die, it's over, it's game over, you know, it kind of like really sets in for you that, oh yeah, he won, like it's actually game, he won. I think that's what the show is shooting for here, is to like instill that despair in the viewer, which they did a great job of it, because I genuinely feel like, yeah, we lost. There is no there's no coming back from this. Really, there, you know, we fucked up. We fucked up, or maybe we just didn't fuck up. Maybe our fate just wasn't our fate, you know. But that the end has a question mark next to it, because we have Weather Report's stand ability. We have his disc. His memories are gone. He himself, Weather Report, is gone. But we still have the embodiment of his spirit, which is enough. Because as we've learned in this episode and all throughout this part, Poochie is completely blind. So it makes sense that he wouldn't see what Weather Report had cooking that ended up giving them his stand disc. In this is exactly why I said when Weather Report was saying that he was blinded to his own evil. This is why I had such a reaction to that line, is because he literally, not literally, I mean he also literally, but he literally could not see his undoing being birthed in front of him. It's not just his evil that he's blind to, because we you know, like we talked about before, is that the interesting thing about Poochie is that he has the same characteristics as a hero, and that's what makes a lot of really good villains or antagonists interesting, is that they have the same characteristics as a villain. And for Poochie, one of those characteristics is also that he wants to do good. Even throughout this episode, when he was talking to Weather Report, and he was like, we all should make it to heaven and all this other stuff, I believed him. But it's that blindness that got him in this situation. So when his very undoing was birthed in front of him and he couldn't see it, there was a bit of hope in my heart. While it was all sad, it made me realize that the dagger had been created. You know, Chekhov's gun has been put right there for us to stare at and wonder when somebody is going to fire it. So it's just really it's really cool how the characters of this show are so well written that they seamlessly integrate the characteristics of these people into the reason why their downfall is imminent. Because let's be real, you're not about to get the Weather Report stand disc and not use that bitch, which is exactly what they're going to do. Now, granted, they I still believe that Poochie is just gonna, when the moon rises, he's gonna blow it all up. But there's somebody that we are not accounting for. My dog Emporio. Emporio is on record before in an earlier episode, a couple episodes ago, of being the only one to monologue in the past tense, or from future tense, which as I talked about before, leads me to believe that he is the only one to survive. And luckily, Emporio has a very, very useful stand power that lets him stash things. What does this mean is that Emporio, if he does survive, he's not unarmed. That was my thing, right? Which we talked about in the last not the last episode, Jesus fucking Christ, a couple episodes, that was my thing, where when we found out like Emporio was the only one, you know, speaking from future tense, because my thought process was, well, if Emporio's the only one to survive, how the fuck do they beat Poochie? Does Poochie even get beat? Because Emporio doesn't have a combat stand. Now he does. And this, my friends, is exactly why Poochie is eventually going to get killed. Not by Jolene, not by Hermes, not by Weather Report's ghost, and not by anybody else except for Emporio, who is probably going to be the one to keep the disc. And how he survives his Poochie's new stand. Do we have a name for this stand? Actually, now I think about it, do we have a name for this stand? Because I don't think we do. I actually don't think we do have a name for the stand. Did he ever say it? I don't think we. Yeah, okay. I was searching the recesses of my mind to see, like, did we ever like actually have the name to that stand? I don't think we did. But point being, it's still like up in the air, like how Emporio survived it. If we are to take him speaking in future tense like seriously, which I think we should. I think this is a show where, like, when they do something, we should be looking, right? We should definitely be watching when they do something, and that was one of those things. So how he survives, whether it's him just like hiding himself in his little pocket dimension, or, you know, who knows. Point being that now we have the Chekhov's gun. That was my point. That I spoke too long about. But yes, that was some good shit. That was a great episode. Really enjoyed this one. I mean, who would have guessed? Who would have guessed that this is where, well, at least I don't know how I would have guessed this is where JoJo would have ended up, because starting from episode 1, I would have never guessed this. I would have never guessed this. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I missed. If I did, I'll just come back. But it's all just really, it was all just a really great episode. That's what I'll say. It was all just a really, really great episode. I was about to say something important, but I don't remember what it was, so who cares? I guess it wasn't that important. But yeah, great fight, great episode. Really, really enjoyed this one. This was probably one of the best fights that we've had in JoJo. And you know, that's with the animation and like the stakes that, you know, everything that was on the line, all that other stuff. It was a fantastic fight. I see why everybody was so hyped to watch, for me to watch this fight, because dear God, I think that's the loudest I've gotten while watching a fight in JoJo. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that is the most hype I've been during a fight, and for good reason, because dear God, that was fucking tastic. I don't know how to. I don't know. At this point, I'm just sucking the meat off of Rocky. So, yeah, really, really great fight. Really enjoyed that episode. Man, I don't know where we go from here. Actually, now I think about it, that's a even bigger problem. Is like, what do we do now? Like, we're on episode 32. How many episodes are left? I'm guessing. How many episodes does JoJo usually have? Like 39. So we still have 7 episodes. Oh my God. Does this go to 39? I would assume that this would go to 39, because JoJo, after like, when did they start doing the 30? point being, there's usually 39 episodes. This is probably also going to be the same thing. So 7 more episodes of whatever the fuck is going to go on after Poochie says that he's about to blow up the universe. Man, I don't know what we have in store here. I don't know what we have in store here. But this is a masterfully written story. This was a masterfully animated fight and a masterfully executed fight as well. These last 3 episodes have been like peak. This shit has been peak. I think I talked about everything that I wanted to talk about. If I forgot something, then well, I'll be back. But other than that, if you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, all the other stuff. If you're just a lurker, I appreciate you too. If you have any requests, whether it be more JoJo's Bizarre Adventure or something totally different, the best place to send that in is always my social media. Link's gonna be in the description below, or you could comment. That's cool too. And if you want these episodes early, you want to watch episode 33 right now, or whatever episode we're on. Ow! You can subscribe to the Patreon. Link's gonna be in the description for that as well. We also have the Discord if you want to talk more JoJo. So yeah, with all that being said, let me get my off button ready. There it is. You all stay amazing, stay safe, and take care of yourselves.